right, sir. Do you have the MLB top 5 power rankings?
I do.
All right.
I have them right in my face.
Right in your face?
Right in my face.
Then why don't you give us your top 5 power ranking as of today? And I don't know, did it change a lot after today's games?
No, not from today. I didn't really factor it in. Like, now we're kind of getting to the point of the baseball season where, one win doesn't really change much. It's got to be kind of a week now, so we're kind of around there now. So today didn't really factor into what I ended up picking here. But so I went with, I'll start from 1 and go to 5. 1, I still have the Tampa Bay Rays. I almost put the Dodgers at 1. I have the Dodgers at 2. I know that.
Wow.
I mean, if you're looking at the records, then yeah. But first of all, the Rays have been kind of slowly starting to dial it back a little bit. They're not playing as well as they started the year.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think right now the division is getting better and better. And it kind of just feels like they're starting to feel that. And I do think that the Dodgers have had to overcome a little bit more than what the Rays have. Rays have been pretty much healthy other than Tyler Glasnow, who finally just came off the IL. And so I think that was a benefit to have him. But his first game that he pitched, they ended up losing, and it wasn't because he wasn't pitching really well. So that's my little concern. I mean, I'm not that concerned. I did think about putting the Dodgers over the Rays, but I was just like, no, you know what? I think the Rays, still not even having 20 losses yet, I think is still, very impressive. First of all, first team to 40 wins, of course. This team is doing really well, but I do think that their hitters are going to start slowing down, and that's when you're going to really see how the Rays are as a team. I just think right now they're kind of riding on a high, and they've just been really continuing it so far. It'll be interesting to see what they do at the All-Star break, whether they can keep that momentum going, and if they can, then this team is legit. But it's kind of, I don't know, I'm very hesitant to say that the Rays are all in all the best team in baseball right now. I don't believe that. So,
okay.
Number 2, I do have the Dodgers, as I said. Like I said, I think they've overcome a lot and still have been doing a lot of winning. Now, of course, people are going to argue with me and be like, well, they're 4-6 in their last 10 games, and they've lost 2 in a row now. And, Arizona is now tied, and the Giants are starting to kind of creep back into – listen, I understand all that, but they're without their ace. They don't have their ace. He's not going to be here this year. They've had guys in and out of the IL like crazy. I mean, it's just like a domino effect. It was James Outman at one point, and then it was, they had to throw out Jason Hayward, who's been a little bit better this year with the Dodgers. So you can just see the little things that they've had to kind of overcome a little bit. And listen, they're still a dominant team. I mean, you still got Mookie Betts, of course. Max Muncy was in one of the biggest slumps. They were talking about possibly dropping him to AAA, and then he played the Giants, and then all of a sudden
got back on track.
This guy had got right back on track, and he's hitting. I think he's hitting probably one of the best times that I've seen him hit in a very long time. So this is good news for the Dodger fans. And honestly, their pitching has not been that fantastic. Julio Urias is okay right now. Kershaw has been okay. And their bullpen hasn't been dominant, but yet they still find ways to win. So that's what I mean by them overcoming a lot of things. Their pitching has been fantastic, and they've had a lot of guys hurt. And like I said, their ace is hurt, and I've been saying that all year. They're still playing really well. So I have the Rangers at 3.
Okay.
This is one of those times now where I could see literally any of these 5 teams at number 1. Rangers are playing really well, and I think they're in a division I know you look at Oakland, and right now Seattle's kind of underwhelming right now. But I look at they have the Angels in their division. They're fighting off the Astros, and they're winning a lot of their games. They're 8-2 in their last 10 games. They're on a 3-game winning streak. And Bruce Bochy, for some reason, just gets the best out of his hitters.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but his teams, Bruce Bochy's teams, do not strike out, and that's what I've been really focused on this year. Is the Rangers are not striking out a ton, and the pitchers without Jacob deGrom have been really good. Andrew Heaney was really good with the Dodgers, and he was nice. He was a nice story, but he's done almost the exact same thing that he was doing with the Dodgers, still with the Rangers. So it doesn't look like it was a fluke.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a really impressive Rangers team, and I think Corey Seager is having a good time there, and Marcus Semien. Both of those two guys are really thriving off each other and off this team, winning a lot of games. So this is a really exciting team to watch.
Do you think Bruce Bochy is on the early consideration for Manager of the Year?
Yeah, I think 1,000%. I think he would come in second to the Rays manager right now, but yeah, I think he's right up there right now, because this Ranger team was no good last year. I mean, they were like, it kind of was like, why did they even sign Corey Seager? Why did they sign Marcus Semien? And they get Bruce Bochy, and then they signed Jacob deGrom. They're like, okay, yeah, that's gonna do, and it did. I mean, it was like, it's wild. So my number 4 team, I have the Atlanta Braves. I really have been reluctant to kind of put them on here, just because I don't think they've been great. But when I look at Ronald Acuna Jr. having an MVP type season right now, and we're talking about him as a 40-40 guy. This guy could hit 40 home runs and 40 steals, and all in the same year, which has not been done. That would be insane. So it's kind of hard for me to take him out, and I think the Braves have finally found their rhythm. It kind of felt like they were like, they'd get really hot and then they'd get really cold. And then Austin Riley was in a real big slump. Ozzie Albies was doing fine. Olsen was on a streaker, and then Olsen kind of dialed it back, and then Austin Riley started picking it up again. And now it's kind of like everyone is in sync now. It's like Acuna, Olsen, Riley, Albies. You're just getting all these guys who are finally starting to get into a groove, and then the pitching is starting to get healthy for Atlanta as well. And that's a big thing as well. So Atlanta is a very interesting team, but I do also think they're kind of benefiting right now that the Mets aren't doing great. And they're not doing bad. I'm not saying they're bad, but and Miami is kind of a little bit on their heels, but I kind of think Atlanta's not really too worried about them right now. And Philadelphia has been a little disappointing right now. And then they're not worried about Washington. So, I just think Atlanta is kind of coasting right now, but I do think they have found their rhythm. And when they need to eke out a win, they eke it out. So, and then finally, this one was hard. This was a hard one, but I'm actually going to put the Yankees at 5.
Wow.
I know we could put the Orioles up there, but I do think, and I've been watching the Orioles play the Giants. I see the weakness in the Orioles. I know they're still winning games, and they obviously beat the Giants. They won the series this weekend, but I just see the pitching is not as crisp as I thought it was going, or as I thought it was. Their hitters are, ridiculous. This is a good hitting team. But I do think the Yankees as a whole are a lot better team. I think they have a sprinkle of pitching, a sprinkle of hitting, and their bullpen you can sprinkle in there a little bit as well. And they can grind out wins. And so I don't think the Yankees are panicked that they're behind the Rays by 6 games. I don't think they're panicked that they're 2 games behind the Orioles. I think they really think the Orioles are going to crumble themselves and the Yankees will end up benefiting. And Toronto is starting to ramp up a little bit as well. So, and even Boston, you could say, is still in this race here. So this is a very tough division. I think when you look at it that way, the Yankees are one of the more experienced teams when it comes to having all the same guys. So, I have to go with the Yankees. Now, I could definitely change, tomorrow or in a couple of days. But right now, I'm going to go with the Yankees.
No consideration for the Astros?
I did consider the Astros, but I think the Yankees are a better team than the Astros right now. I think the Astros are, like I said, like with the Braves, they're kind of in their rhythm now. I kind of feel like the Astros haven't hit their rhythm yet. I think they are surprised about how the Rangers are playing. So, and then obviously Altuve just came back. So he's going to have to kind of get into the game flow again. So I think the Astros are, I would say, about a month away from really, really, truly finding their rhythm.
Okay. All right. So just to repeat, you have 1 being the Rays.
1 is the Rays. 2 is the Dodgers. 3 are the Rangers. 4 are the Braves. And 5 I have the Yankees.
Probably your most controversial list so far.
Why? What's controversial about it?
Well, you left off the Orioles. Some probably would argue with you about
Orioles. Okay, Astros.
Yeah,
I thought about putting the Diamondbacks there, but
I will say too, some may argue that the Dodgers are a little high, and you're like probably like the Texans are probably more of an argument to go number 2 than the Dodgers. But I get it. You're in a hostile situation right now, married to a Dodger fan. So I understand.
No, I mean this is power rankings. This is not who has the better record. I look at how the teams play, and I think if you were to put the Dodgers against the Rangers, I would still trust the Dodgers over the Rangers. I think the Rangers would make it a very interesting game, but I trust the Dodgers hitters and the Dodgers pitchers, for that matter, more than the Rangers still. The Rangers are having a nice start, but Dodgers have done it for longer. I mean, it's the same reason why I have the Yankees in the top 5 over the Orioles. The Yankees have done it longer than the Orioles because they're not a brand new team. The Orioles are kind of a very young team. And yes, they have that spry going, but it's got to last all season. And history tells us it doesn't. So that's why I put the Yankees ahead.